Hello, I'm Callum Dilietto, and this is the second season of the Flock Together podcast in partnership with the Marne Convention Bureau. And we're here at the Langham, where I'm joined by Colleen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. You are one of the rare individuals to go from venue to agency.
Correct.
But you've been at Blackbrook a while now.
I have. I think it's coming on about 18 months now. So hopefully found my feet. I'd like to think, but yeah.
How was that transition for you?
It's been, I thought it was going to be easier, I have to admit. I thought being in the industry for 10 years prior to that, I thought, I know the industry. But yeah, it was slightly harder than I thought. But as I said, hopefully found my feet now, got used to it, got into the swing of things. So
gave you a new appreciation for agency life.
Exactly, 100%.
Love that. So the first part of the podcast is a letter to the industry. It's getting the feather from the Flock Together logo, using it as a quill and writing your letter to the masses. What would your letter be?
My letter, based on my experience, would be, take the opportunity. I think our industry is so vast. We've got kind of the end client, we've got agency, we've got corporate, and you can have one title as an event manager across either of those, yet it's a very different job. I think, as you say, it's kind of, I found a huge appreciation, and so I want other people to kind of find that appreciation, and that's just me kind of going from one side to another. Of course, there's another side as well that I know a lot of people kind of have done, or not loads, but some. So all I would say was kind of take the opportunity, say yes to the trips, kind of do as much as you can, because the experience you gain from it, it can't be beaten. So yeah, take the opportunity, say yes.
I love that. My New Year's resolution, I don't know, I was at uni, I'd watched the film Yes Man.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start saying yes to because I have this awful habit of being like, oh, I'm too tired, I can't be bothered to go to that. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I don't know. I started saying yes to more things, and my personal life, my career, my everything accelerated. Like all these opportunities started opening up, and it really does make a difference.
Exactly, and I think it's about having that that outlook on it as well. Like that, it changes your outlook, which is amazing.
Yeah, you just have to be more open to things.
No, I agree.
So the second part of the podcast is remember. So I'd like you to remember your first ever work trip.
My first ever work trip was actually to Prague. I think I was 21. We did everything. We did kind of, I'm sure, the electric bike tours. We did the little cars around the city. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I have to admit, though, being 21, you kind of appreciate the absolutely free booze the whole weekend, free food and drink. I was definitely a lot more appreciative of that at the time. But yeah, that was my first ever work trip.
Prague is notorious for stag and hen do's.
Exactly.
But when you go there on a work trip, like I remember being there for a conference, and it was just so much more fun because of that. Like it ended up just a group of us being out for ages, and the drinks are cheap, and the bars are fun, and people are just so welcoming. And yeah, I imagine at 21 that would have been...
It was. It was amazing. It was a lot to kind of take in, which is fab. And yeah, there's so much more to it, as you say, than that. There's like, I remember the John Lennon wall, all things like that I don't think I would have kind of appreciated so much if I hadn't been on a work trip.
And what was your most recent work trip?
My most recent work trip was actually to Australia for AIM last month. Just back a couple of weeks ago. And again, I mean, it just shows kind of how you can go like all over the world. And, we did everything from beautiful brunch with Welcome to Country in the Royal Botanic Gardens. I did a surfing lesson.
Nice. Were you any good?
No, I'm saying I'm quite a competitive person, and so I'd like to say I was. However, I didn't get up on the board. I'm blaming that the group was too big, but it was probably my own fault.
No. It was definitely the fact the group was too big. You didn't have enough one-on-one tuition.
Exactly,
yeah.
100% that. But yeah, the whole experience was amazing. Kind of going into the trade show, the welcome party. Yeah, I'll remember it forever still. Plus, I've got family out there, so I had the opportunity to tag that on kind of at the start as well.
And AIM is in Melbourne, right?
Yeah, AIM Melbourne, which was amazing.
Amazing. I think it's always great when you can visit family or reunite with family or friends in and amongst a work trip. That always ticks a good box.
Well, I do think it's important. I think last year I was very much kind of saying yes to everything, which was amazing, and I got to go on some great trips last year. I think this year I'm kind of looking at it slightly different, tag it on with a bit of annual leave. Like I had so much annual leave to use at the end of last year. So it's about, tagging it on with a bit of annual leave. It's more sustainable. You're kind of getting more out of your trips as well.
The next part of the podcast is revisit, and the first question is, if you could relive a destination you visited, like if you could teleport yourself back in time to an experience you had, what destination would that be?
Mine has to be South Africa. I was lucky enough to go last year, and we did everything. We did Cape Town first. We stayed at the Mount Nelson. We had Zelda Lagrange, who was Nelson Mandela's PA. She was our kind of motivational speaker.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing to listen to. We did kind of food packing whilst we were there. We did, we heard some beautiful kind of singing from their school children, local school children there as well. Of course, the wineries were wonderful. And then at the end of the trip, we got to go on a post van over to Shamwari for a safari, which, I'll remember it forever. It was so good. It was amazing.
What an incredible speaker as well. That sounds like a
Absolutely.
really good...
It was... She was so humble. She spoke about the good, the bad, everything. And it was just, when the whole room is super engaged. And I just think that's exactly what you want at an event like that.
When there's a speaker on stage and you could hear a pin drop because everyone is just with bated breath, holding on to every single word.
Absolutely.
What was some of the key things you remember from her speech that you're that stuck with me?
Do you know what? I knew you were going to ask that, but it's, I feel like it, not a cop-out, hopefully, but it was just everything. It was just kind of, again, I can't remember exactly, but she'd worked with him for so many years. And it's just that relationship that they built together. Of course, it becomes a friendship as well.
Of course.
And so that was just kind of, beautiful to really hear.
And if you could make any hotel a home, which hotel would it be?
Again, I think that's quite a tough question. There's some beautiful hotels that I've managed to stay in. I've been fortunate enough to stay in. I do like a traditional kind of vintage type hotel. I based my home on kind of a bit more vintage style. So it's quite a difficult one. I love the Savoy here in London. As amazing as they are, you walk into that hotel and they immediately make you feel at home. It's not snooty or anything like that, which is lovely. But I guess there's also something, I managed to go to Mexico last year. It was a couple of days before my birthday, and I walked into that and they just made me feel so special, which is so lovely. And there's something about sitting on a balcony, that was at the Unico in Mexico, sitting on a balcony in the bar with a glass of champagne, overlooking the sea, that you think, I could potentially live here forever. I could get used to this. So
I think both are good options. Like the Savoy, great location in London. It's by the river. It's very but also there is a prestige about the Savoy that is timeless, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's famous before you even go into the venue, before you even experience the service, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But then there is that escapism part of you, maybe I could just live in Mexico by the beach forever, and I don't actually have to do anything. So there's almost like a practical answer there, and
that's
a more...
it. I like the juxtaposition, as you say.
So the next part is reimagine. And so I'd like you to reimagine an incentive, but not for a client, not for anyone else, for you, and create a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Where would you go? What would you do? And which celebrity would accompany you on that trip?
So I actually love the mountains. I would love to do something. I think there's something so fulfilling about climbing a mountain, getting to the top and seeing an amazing view. However, I feel like Kilimanjaro might not be the right kind of mountain for an incentive. So therefore, I think I'd probably say somewhere like Banff in Canada.
Ooh,
I
nice.
just think I haven't been, unfortunately, but I feel like the mountains there, the scenery is stunning, from the mountains to the bright blue lakes. I just think it's absolutely, every picture I've seen has looked absolutely incredible. So yeah, I would say that is what that's where I'd like to go. Of course, I would like to have some form of climb to take in those views whilst there. And I guess kind of what else we'll do. Well, in terms of celebrity, I should probably say someone a bit more spiritual and outdoorsy.
You don't have to.
No, I'm very much a firm believer in, work hard, play hard. So I'm kind of, right, let's go out to, let's go climb a mountain, but let's come back and let's have, a good time. So I'd want to see someone, or I'd want to have someone there that, has a bit of a background. I was thinking someone like John Lennon, and not John Lennon. John Lennon, if he was still alive.
I was going to say, I didn't see him as a party animal, but okay, John Lennon.
No, Elton John. Elton John, I think I'd say. I feel like he would have some stories to tell, especially about kind of how he's overcome those as well. So yeah, I feel like, he'd be a good person to listen to.
I like the idea of like doing lots of spiritual things and then partying really hard. Do you know what? When you said John Lennon, I thought you were going to say Keith Lemon. And I was like, yeah, he would party very hard. Yeah. But no, Elton John, I think, is kind of the middle ground between the two.
I feel like his kind of partying days are over, but he's got the kind of the stories that would back it up.
And also, what a great thing to report back. I've actually been to Banff and Lake Louise, but it was in the winter.
Right.
So I was ice skating on a frozen lake.
Okay.
So I didn't see the turquoise waters and all of that. But that's what's beautiful about that destination, is I think actually it's two destinations. It's incredible in the winter and incredible in the summer. So I want to go back because I think it would be a whole new experience. Mm-hmm. But I also highly recommend going in the winter because it is just an incredible winter wonderland.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So the last part of the podcast is React. It's a quick fire round. So I'm going to ask you some questions and you just need to respond quick and easy.
Okay.
Packing, last minute or week before?
I always want to start week before, but it's always last minute.
So you want to be a week before, but it's always last minute. Yeah, okay. Carry on or check in?
Carry on.
Airport lounge or shopping?
Lounge.
You're like, forget shopping.
If there's wine, I will be in the lounge.
There we go. Aisle or window seat?
Window.
Same.
I can't sleep.
Yeah, you need the side of the plane to rest on. And
absolutely.
also, I like having the power of being able to shut the blinds
when
or not.
you want to.
Yeah, because when someone opens it when you're trying to sleep, you're like,
exactly.
Excuse you?
Raging. Plus also, I used to be bothered about getting people to stand up if you need to go to the bathroom. However, I heard someone once say, well, no, I would rather make them stand up than me have to stand up. And I'm abiding by that now.
Yeah. I mean, it's
very selfish.
Sassy, but I kind of like it.
It's true.
City or nature?
Nature.
I think we've learnt that already. Lay in or early start?
Early start.
Really?
I know.
Okay. Poolside or seaside?
I love the sea, but I don't like sand, so probably pool.
You are preaching to the... I hate sand.
Honestly, I hate when it gets everywhere. So if I can maybe be at a poolside with, the beach and the sea there, then that's what I would...
I love the look of a beach, and I love beaches, but if you ever see me on a beach, I will have like waterproof bags that are aka sandproof bags. I will be like, it looks ridiculous. Basically, I don't sit. I'll like lay out my towel in a very specific way. This, that, and the other. I'll be like, tiptoeing almost because, yeah, sun.
But it's also sun cream. I am fair. I need to top up my sun cream, and I hate when
Getting
there's sand everywhere. So yeah, I am.
Fair. Planned or spontaneous?
Oh, I like to say I'm spontaneous, but I guess it's you know, as planners,
It's in the name.
Yeah,
It's in the name. Breakfast, hot or cold?
Cold.
Oh.
No, yeah, yeah. I feel like I have more cold than I do hot. Like, so yeah, cold.
And finally, hotel room service or restaurant?
Restaurant.
You were unsure about that one?
Yeah, I feel like, well, I guess I liked the whole experience of going to a restaurant, and I hate, you know, I don't like eating in my room.
Yeah,
basically.
fair.
So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thanks for being part of the Flock Together community, and thank you for sharing your experiences.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on season 2.
Thank you.